Because the bottom of the boiler is the low point where most of our sludge is going to settle. In some places, the code refers to blow down versus blow off. So blow down would be the top blow down or the skimmer or the continuous blow down, all the same thing, where blow off would be bottom blow down or bottom blow off. And so they're two different valves or connections and really two different systems with two different purposes. Bottom blow off or bottom blow down or intermittent blow down is really intended to remove sediment because the bottom of the boiler is the low point where most of our sludge is going to settle. Of course, there's going to be some sludge and some sediment settling in our water columns as well. But primarily, we're going to blow down the bottom of the boiler to remove those solids in the form of sludge or whatever it may be. You know, most places kind of do that once a day, but that's kind of a procedure that you're going to want to kind of shake out with your water chemistry provider based on how much sludge or sediment is my program creating? So how often should I be cleaning that out? So again, the bottom blowdown is to control settled solids. The top blowdown or the skimmer or the continuous blowdown, that's really to control the concentration effect, right? So boilers are concentrators. So as we bring in more and more water and we turn that water into steam, right? The steam leaves the boiler, but all the things that were in that water, all that dissolved solids, you know, the calcium and iron and things of that nature, those stay behind in the boiler and they cycle up. Cycles is kind of a water chemistry term for it. It gets more and more concentrated. So you can imagine that if we didn't have any water being removed from that boiler, that then that water would almost become thick with calcium. And so we measure how much calcium or salt or things are in that boiler, measuring the conductivity of that water. So you can imagine with no top blowdown, our conductivity would just go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until we started having problems with things like carryover. Really high conductivity would cause carryover. So that top blowdown is just to control the concentration of dissolved solids so that we don't get so high that we start forming a scale or have issues in that way. So they're kind of both blowdowns. They're called the same thing, but they kind of have two very different purposes.